Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So, the world's greatest politician, the world's greatest president, former President Barack Obama, stated that the reason why Americans are against immigration is because, hold on now, racism. It's these doggone racists that keep messing everything up for everybody else. I'm so tired of these racists, man. Let's get into this article and see exactly what he has to say. So, this article starts off with Americans oppose President Joe Biden's lawless and wage-cutting mass migration because they are racist, not because of their economic worries, according to former President Barack Obama. Right now, the biggest fuel behind the Republican agenda is related to immigration and the fear that somehow America's character is going to be changed if people of darker shades, there are too many of them here, Obama told a meeting of Hispanic realtors on September 25th in San Diego, California. Goes on to say, Obama used his divide and rule claims of racism to hide the public's opposition to migration's economic impact, according to his comments posted in a September 25th report by the San Diego Union Tribune. And let me say, before I read what he has to say in this article here, is that this article from Breitbart News is opinionated in some areas. For example, the term Obama used his divide and rule claims of racism is an opinionated piece right there. So let me just bring that out right there. Part of that is opinionated, but a lot of it is obviously factual data that they have written on. Okay, so I want to make that plainly clear. So let's read on. I wish I could be more euphemistic about it, except they're not that subtle about it. They're just kind of saying it, Obama said. You hear it on hard right media, which what the heck is hard right? What is hard right? I don't know what a hard right is. What, we against abortion? That's hard right? We're against promoting transgenderism and pushing sexually provocative material to our children. That's considered hard right? Woe unto the person and the nation that calls good evil and evil good. But let's go on. The Bible says, but let's go on. You hear it on hard right media. You hear it from candidates and politicians. You hear things like great replacement theory. I mean, this is not subtle. Unless we're able to return to a more inclusive vision inside the Republican Party, it's going to be hard to get a bill done. Obama also argued that public opposition to mass migration is more dangerous than government support for the nation-changing migration that has killed thousands of migrants and many, many more Americans. When you have that kind of rhetoric floating around out there, we've seen in history that is dangerous rhetoric. It's dangerous wherever it appears, and it's dangerous here in the United States. Since January 2021, Biden and his pro-migration border chief, that was, by the way, that was Obama's quote. Since January 2021, Biden and his pro-migration border chief has extracted roughly 3 million migrants from poor countries into the U.S. economy via the southern border, likely in violation of federal law. They have also pulled more than 2 million legal immigrants, visa workers, and white-collar illegals via airports. Notice the term illegals, illegals. That massive government-engineered migration has delivered at least one migrant for every 2 births since January 2021. In 2013 and 2014, Obama and Biden used claims of racism to stigmatize America's popular opposition to mass migration as they were trying to push the doomed, quote, Gang of 8 cheap labor bill through Congress. But that incendiary smear is contradicted by numerous polls which show the public wants to welcome some immigration, but also declares deep and broad public opposition to labor migration and the inflow of temporary contract workers into the good jobs U.S. graduates need to raise families. I'm going to end the article there. You can read the rest of that article in the description box below when you log on to www.breitbart.com and look up the title of that article. But suffices to say that I totally disagree with former president, the greatest president in all of human history. I totally disagree with his assessment. This is the same rhetoric that Democrats have been using for quite some time, particularly in these up and coming midterm elections in November. Far as I'm concerned, this is nothing more than a campaign tactic. A conquer and divide, just like it said, a conquer and divide tactic used to divide the people among each other and to get people angry and mad at other people and mad at the Republicans and mad at conservatives so that it can keep everybody divided when it comes time to voting. And here's the sad thing about this rhetoric, the true rhetoric that's being pushed by the Democrats, okay, is I think a lot of this type of stuff that Obama is saying about constantly putting the word racism out there, racism, everything's race, everything's race, everything's race, the Democrats constantly push. I believe that it is having an effect. And I believe it's affecting a lot of people's minds and affecting their attitudes. And I hate to say, and this is from different racial groups, but mostly from my observations and from my experiences working as a security officer on bike patrol at downtown Cleveland, okay, mostly I see it from blacks. That's what I mostly see it from. It could be from other people, I'm pretty sure, but that's what I see. So I don't hear no words from other people. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it mostly from black people. Last night when I was on my job, it's about 10 o'clock, I'm outside, I'm posting, I got my bike. I get off, I start leaving to go back to the office to clock out at around 10:42. So my day is mostly over. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go. Everything's quiet. Everything has been quiet on the radio. I haven't had to address my dispatcher for anything that I can remember all through that hotel. It was a basically peaceful day. But I kept feeling like somebody's going to say or do something stupid before I get ready to leave. Needless to say, about 10:15, well, I say about, let me take it back. Let me say 10:25. Some guy comes across, headed inside Tower City, and he's African-American, flaring his hands all around, hooping and hollering, and saying derogatory things about white people. He enters into the entrance doors of Tower City, which is called the front portico area. He enters in. So I walk in the back of him as he enters in to watch him going in. And I see my supervisor coming in the opposite direction, who, by the way, is a white man. My supervisor is coming in the opposite direction, and this guy is going in the other direction of him. So they're going in different directions. And this guy that's going in different directions, going in the opposite directions, African-American, that has a problem with white people, is flaring his hands around, screaming and hollering in the hallway. It's late at night. He's scaring everybody to death. So I call my supervisor, and I tell him, be on alert and watch this guy that's going, through the mall. Anyway, make a long story short, my supervisor responds. I get back into position, and literally like 10, 20 seconds later, my supervisor calls the dispatch to call for someone to send extra police officers down into the RTA hub, which was at the bottom of the mall, which is called the 50-foot, because you go down these escalators and that's where you can get on the trains. He goes down there, he's cussing out the people down there, making threats and so forth. He comes back up. 3 or 4 police officers have to address this because this guy was so radical. He's standing in the middle of the street. He comes outside, stands in the middle of the street, hooping and hollering, making racial threats. I F up every police officer. I wish one of you would come out in the middle of the street. I F you up. Then supposedly he gets on his phone, which he probably is too retarded to know how to use it. He gets on the phone, and I guess he's calling up his homies or whatever to come down here. I have no clue. But whatever the situation was, either this man was demon possessed, mentally ill, or he had been radicalized by stupid rhetoric, just like Obama said, just like Biden said in that speech he said several weeks ago about conservatives and Republicans being evil, and about racism this and racism that, and white supremacy this and white supremacy that, and woo, 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 woo. I can't help but wonder if he's a part of that. I see this stuff all the time. I did totally disagree with what Obama said. I don't agree with that at all. The reason why most Americans are against this is because, number one, as the article even talks about it, about these illegals coming over here and taking over a lot of these low-income jobs and stuff, taking over these jobs that a lot of college graduates should be getting when they get out of college. They can't even get a job because these illegals are taking their jobs. Are you serious? Stuff like this, it's the illegal immigration that they're against. They're not against people coming to this country in general. But even if you have legal immigration, still, the people that live here, the people that have gone through college, the people that work here, the natives here should be given first dibs. Especially if they're working hard. They're in college. They're trying to better their life. They're trying to get a good education so they can get a good job and have a good career. It is not fair to take someone from another country, as far as I'm concerned, take someone from another country and push them over these individuals who are native born, whether they be white, black, Hispanic, or Asian, and promote those individual immigrants over them and put them in their positions. I believe that's wrong. Take care of family first. Then you take care of them. That's just common sense. And Obama, like a lot of these Democratic politicians are doing, are playing this race game. And unfortunately, I think, as I just mentioned about that food that was going off in Tower City last night, this is having a negative effect on a lot of unstable people. Unfortunately, it works, because if you can get a significant number of people revved up and angry and mad and make everything racial, it works. It works. But I hope come November, people take off the dumb cap and put on the smart cap and learn how to vote with their brains and not their emotions. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.